You're listening to That Home Loan Hub. I'm Zibuni Salimova, here to make home loans and property investing simple, smart and stress-free. Let's get you closer to your property dreams. In 2021, Kainga Ora announced that they had a really cool scheme, which is called Kainga Ora Partnership Scheme. And what it meant is that they could buy a house with you up to 25% or 200K, and then you can buy them out over the next 15 years. What gets me is that this scheme is so popular that it had to close. I've got Kunch with me. We're going to talk about this. But guess what? Nobody knows how many people it actually helped. I've tried digging around. I've tried to put my journalism hat on. And I've tried digging around to see how many people it actually helped. And the official sites doesn't say anything. It just says hundreds.
Yeah.
It had about 400 people that went through the process, apparently. And 2,500 people were eligible. So what I'm hoping to achieve with this episode is demystify a couple of things that we're still getting asked by our clients, but also put out a call to action to any brokers, advisors out there, or even the banks, if you want to come on the show. I want to know the numbers. I want to know how many people actually benefited from that scheme, because I cannot find any of that information. And I've got like the whole step-by-step of what actually happened. So Kunch, what do you know about that scheme? Because you were working in the bank at that time. You weren't a mortgage advisor.
No.
Do you know anything about that scheme?
No, I actually don't know too much about this one. My understanding is that it was to purchase property off Kainga Ora, or that previously known as Housing New Zealand. So they obviously own property, but then the renters or whoever qualified or had met their criteria could buy in partnership with them, where the deposit part, they took out a loan jointly with the Kainga Ora for that deposit part. And then it's like a rent to buy sort of thing from Kainga Ora. That is my understanding.
Yep. Yeah. So my angle here is that for those people that are listening and you did that scheme and you bought with Kainga Ora in partnership, this is your time to buy them out.
Yeah.
You don't want to wait until the prices of your houses go up again to buy out Kainga Ora. Because the way I understand, if they put in, let's say 5% or 10% or 20% deposit, it says up to 25.
Okay.
Whatever they put in, you have to buy that equity back.
Yeah.
So if the house was worth 500K and they put 20% deposit, that's 100K.
Yeah.
Right? So over the next 15 years, you have to buy back that 100K. But if the house suddenly is worth 1 million, in 15 years' time, you now owe them 200K.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is where I think people really need to get savvy and go, hey, stop. We need to buy you out now.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's point one that I wanted to make. Now, point two, that program shut down in 2023 because apparently they were fully subscribed. Right? They approved way too many people.
Yeah.
Because in August 2023, they widened the eligibility.
Yeah.
So people that had bigger incomes and stuff like that and homes outside of certain, they could do it. And also they could have bigger whānuas included. So before it could be like only 2 people, for instance, that could buy in. Then they allowed more people to be part of this program. But because they had 450% increase in applications that month.
Wow.
450%. They had to shut it down. Absolutely shut it down. But somehow, any of their reports, when I dig through Kainga Ora's quarterly reports, the first home loans, first home grants, tenant home ownership, KiwiSaver withdrawals, everything, nothing appears on those reports. How many people got in?
That's because the government probably doesn't want you to know.
But I'm wondering why. Like Ireland has their numbers out. They've put out that, they had 10,000 applications approved and 5,000 applications settled.
Yeah.
The New Zealand version only says hundreds.
That's probably because in a too hard basket for them. But I think it's also because it was such a short-term scheme as well, right? When did it start? In 2020? 21. And then 23, it kind of got too popular and then they stopped. They broke themselves sort of thing. So it was so short.
Yeah.
That, maybe they just didn't keep the numbers. It was pretty much, the scheme's over now. We're just going to shut it down. on to the next project.
Yeah. Well, this is where, I've got these questions in my head. Is this an accountability gap, or has demand just outspaced the funding so badly that they don't want the numbers to be out there?
Yeah,
like, they don't want us to know.
I think it was demand versus funding, right?
Yeah. I want to hear theories. I want our listeners to hook onto this episode and tell us what they think.
Yeah, it's probably a demand thing.
Demand thing.
Yeah, because it obviously suits a niche group of people as well, right? For those that don't have a deposit, this is the best way to get into the market or into the home ownership side of things.
Yeah.
And it'll be, targeting whānau that have lived in that property for years as well, like 20 odd years, and don't want to leave because they've created this home there.
Yeah.
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 So it'll be that kind of market as well, I think.
But I also know some first home buyers that bought into brand new places and went half with Kainga Ora. So they might only have 5% deposit, and Kainga Ora came up with the rest of money. Or I think at that point you could choose how much partnership. But the downfall of it as well, I remember talking to one of the clients. She said that with the Kainga Ora partnership, you needed permission from them if you wanted to do anything in the house. So if you wanted to, because they obviously own the house with you.
Part of the house, yeah.
If you wanted to renovate the house, if you wanted to, even plant things outside or whatever, like they actually have control and say over what you can or can't do with the property.
Yeah, so they were your landlords, then they became joint owner with you.
Yeah.
So you kind of didn't actually win.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, you literally, got a mortgage.
Yeah. And then if you have to pay them out at a high market, then you lose even more.
Yeah. That'd be interesting though, that one. Like, did they set a price in terms of like the payout, or is it through market value?
Well, the one document I've seen from a person that came to me after they've already done all of that, because we couldn't do those loans. I think they had to go direct through Westpac and someone else at that point. And I remember looking at one of the files, and it was around Kainga Ora will agree with you on the market value at the time, but they can also disagree. Like if you went to them now and you said, hey, I want to buy you out, and if they see they're going to be losing money, so if they put in 100K and now you want to pay them 50K, they also have the right to say no. So they might wait for better times or whatever. But it definitely goes with the market value.
Yeah.
And the share gets locked in. So if they put in 20%, then that's their share.
Yeah.
And you also have opportunity to buy them out, their shares, certain percentages of shares every year.
Yeah.
So you don't have to buy everything at once. You can actually buy portions. So this is where if you're suddenly earning more money, if your house went up in equity and you can afford more, if you've got lump sum of money, this is the time to buy back the Kainga Ora shares.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there was a lot. I really, really want to get someone here. So if you're listening to this podcast and you know someone, or you're going, oh my God, I didn't know that about that, please reach out. This is really piqued my interest. My journalist hat went on. But the other thing we just want to remind people is that system has closed. It's no longer available. However, you can still get into the property with at least 5% deposit.
Yes, you can.
And there are a couple of loopholes to do that.
And I think we've done a few episodes on that 5%.
We have.
As well.
But it's always nice to remind people because
100%.
they forget.
Yeah, they do forget.
Because they hear on the news is that you need to have 20% or,
That's such a myth.
Yep. And I just want to remind investors as well, there's actually an opportunity to get in with turnkey properties or build properties with 5% to 10% deposits as well, even as an investment.
Yep. You don't actually need 30%.
Correct. So we'll just leave it at that, and really looking forward to hearing your thoughts.
Reach out if you want to find out more.
And that's a wrap on That Home Loan Hub. Don't forget to hit subscribe and join me next time for more property tips and tricks. Your next smart move starts here.